So sa put method na to kay kon. Ang put na to dire kay nag-update sa existing to do item na database. Magamit na to ang ring update dire nga sa kon sa fraud. May expect sa JSON body containing ID, title o completed nga kon. Bisag true or false nga sa kon. So mag-required sa fields or kanang fields nga na mga sod for it to prepare o ma-execute ang SQL update query. So kung successful siya, mag-return sa success message. If any data is missing or invalid, mag-return siya og error. Nasa delete method na to kay mag-remove siya og to-do item from the database. Man siyang mag-expect ang JSON body with the ID of to-do to be deleted. So mag-kuhan sa mag-base sa ID sa atong table nga nabuhat. So if kanang ID kay naa siya, then mag-prepare siya niya, iyan ang execute ang delete method na to. Mara siyang mawagtang na siya ito. Yan na sa success message nga mo-return nga if the item is deleted. Kundi kay na siya kanang error message nga mo-return if kanang wala na siya na-exist nga ID. Yan ko default case diri kanang si HTTP method na siya kung di siya ma-recognize wala siya sa get, post, put ug delete, mag-return siya og error message nga nag-indicate og kani nga method kay wala siya or not supported. So balik ko sa get kay mo retrieve siya mga to-do items niya sa post kay mag-add siya og new to-do item niya sa put kay mag-update ang existing to-do item niya sa delete. Mag-delete siya og to-do item nga nalista na dito. Kaning interaction kay sa database niya siya gamit ang PDO for safe and efficient querying. All responses kay ma-return sa JSON format para dali ra siya ma-integrate gamit sa front end. Mara.
I am Keter Ganas. I will going to explain the HTML and CSS file. So in the HTML file, we have the title of to-do app and a link for our design or a visual of our to-do app, and we have a div class container and a card, and we have a heading which is to-do list and our input and button, and which is the add button, and it has a UL or unordered list that has class and ID. So we use IDs and class so that ato siyang ma-call sa JavaScript para matagaan ato siya function. So when we click so kumusuwat ta ganang atong input ta kay ikapis dito sa add kay na siya button nga complete and delete. Muna siya ang na-append sa atong HTML when we click the add because na siya ganang function nga nasa JavaScript. So next kay it has script which is the script.js nga na ito atong mga functionalities sa atong HTML file.
Hello, I am Aubrey Ornopia and I am here to explain some major parts of the JavaScript. So first thing is constant and DOM element selection, where API URL, so it holds the endpoint URL for your API, which handles get, post, put, and delete requests to interact with to-dos. So next is to-do input. So it references the input field where the user types the task, and then add button. So it references the add button that user clicks to add a task. And next is to-do list, and it references the UL element that will display the list of the tasks. So next is fetch to-dos. So fetch to-dos function is about fetching and displaying tools. So this is an asynchronous function that fetches data from the API using the fetch method. It makes a get request to the API to retrieve the list of to-dos, and response.json method parses with the JSON response, and then it calls display to-dos to display the list. And next is display to-dos function, which is about rendering to-dos in the UI. So this function takes an array of to-dos and renders them on the page. So first, it clears any previous content in the to-do list by setting inner HTML to an empty string. Then it loops through each to-do and creates a new li element for each task. It sets the text of li to the to-do list and adds a class if the to-do is marked as completed. So next is adding action buttons for complete and undo or delete. So for each to-do, the code creates two buttons, which is complete and undo button. So this button toggles the completion of status, the to-do that the text button changes based on whether the task is completed or not. So and delete button. So this button allows the user to delete a to-do. It listens for a click event to trigger the delete to-do function. After that is toggle complete function, marking to-dos as completed or undoing completion. So this function is called when the user clicks the complete or undo button. It toggles the completed status of the to-do by flipping its current value to to-do that completed. So it sends a put request to the API to update the to-do status in the database. After the update, it calls fetch to-dos to refresh and display the updated list of to-dos. Next is add button, adding a new to-do. This section listens for a click event on the add button. It retrieves the value from the input field and trims any extra white space, and then if the input is not empty, it creates a new to-do object and sends a post request to the API to add the new to-do. So after adding the to-do, the input field is cleared and the fetch to-dos is called to refresh the list. And then the last one is initial fetch call. So fetch the to-dos. This line ensures that the to-do are fetched and displayed when the page initially loads. So in summary, the code facilitates communication between front end and the back end API to manage a to-do list. So it uses a fetch to make API requests for creating, updating, and retrieving and deleting to-dos. Event listeners handle user interactions, adding, completing, and deleting to-dos. The UI is dynamically updated based on the state of to-dos. So that's all. Thank you.